Here we go. First and foremost, so the diploma program runs in the 11th and 12th grade years. Within that program, there are 7 subject areas, and you will notice that they are listed below. We have language and literature. We have language B, which is basically our Spanish and French. We have individuals and societies, which is ultimately our history as well as our psychology course. Our science courses, which are our chemistry, biology, and environmental systems and societies. Our math courses, which are math applications and math analysis. The arts, which is theater, film, and music. And then the ever important TOK class, which we also refer to as the core. And I'll speak more about that in just a minute. But guys, as our students are progressing through the program, once they enter the 11th and 12th grade years, they are going to be taking classes within each of those subject areas in order to obtain the diploma program, the diploma. So just making sure that you guys are aware. Some of the things that are not going to be required would be the arts. This would be an elective area, but the kids have to take the core courses, which are math, science, individuals and societies, language B, and language and literature. Now, within those courses, we offer both standard and higher level courses. So I want to make sure you kind of understand some of the acronyms here. So when I refer to an SL course, which refers to standard level, that is when you would be taking that test the first year of taking the course. So essentially, you could do this both either the junior year or the senior year. Plus, you will take the test at the end of the first year of taking that class. So again, you'll see here in a minute, you'll have to have 3 of those, but essentially you'll have to pick 3 standard level courses that they would complete at the end of the first year. They would test at the end of the first year. A higher level course is a course in which a student would take the test after taking the class 2 consecutive years in a row. And you'll notice the hours put there. So basically, the standard level is about 150 teaching hours, where the higher level course is going to be 240 teaching hours. The higher level course would allow for the student to sit for the test and pass out of the class after 2 consecutive years. So I wanted to jump in really quickly and talk about theory of knowledge and the core. So TOK is one of our required courses. It is a class that provides students an opportunity to reflect on the nature of knowledge and how we know what we claim to know. It's essentially, guys, it's kind of a philosophy class, and it's the vision of it, the philosophy behind it is to help our kids learn to learn. So we want to really talk to them about their strategies of developing, their learning skills so that they are enhancing their learning and they're getting the most out of both our program, but as they go forward into college. When they enter the 11th and 12th grade year, they must take it both as a junior and a senior. So it is a 2-year required course. There is no test tied to the TOK class. No student will ever sit for a test, but there are other requirements expected from that class. IB expects that TOK into every subject area. So as other teachers are talking about their subject area, they should be including knowledge and tying back in the TOK lessons that they're learning. And also, again, you'll see it as, and I said before, the core. The core basically is a part of the program that requires our students to complete 3 major components, which are, and we will continue to talk about more these further, but they are the extended essay, the TOK essay, and what we call C.A.S. So as I go forward, I will continue to, and I'm sorry, I should have started the slideshow. Sorry about that. Talk about the extended essay and the TOK essay. So while they are in their TOK class, Mr. Walters, our TOK teacher, begins to roll out the process of both the extended essay and the TOK essay. While they are in that course over the 2 years, they will finish and complete both of these major assessments. So every DP student is required to write the extended essay and the TOK essay. What is the extended essay? Essentially, it's a 4,000-word paper that is written within one of the program's subject areas. So we would not allow a student to write in a subject area that we do not offer. We typically try to push and almost mandate that students write their paper in with a subject that they are currently or have taken. But essentially, it's a 4,000 word research. It's for the most part a research paper. Each one of those essays is submitted to IB around April 20th. All extended essays are submitted. Those essays are then scored and marked by IB, and they will receive a mark between an A through an E, okay? Now, here's the biggest and most important thing. If a student earns an E on the extended essay, and as you will see on the TOK essay, if they earn an E, they cannot receive their IB diploma. They must receive an A through a D in order to receive their diploma, okay? As well as with the TOK essay, this is another essay that is written in the TOK class. It is more specific to the course itself. The extended essay is just something that we have that IB has rolled into the TOK class. The TOK essay is a requirement and is the main assessment of the TOK class. This is a 1,600 word essay on essentially a philosophy / TOK topic. Again, this essay is submitted to IB for marking. It is given a score from an A through an E. And if they receive an E on either the extended essay or the TOK essay, they would not be able to receive their diploma. So the ever important question, what is C.A.S? Well, C.A.S is an acronym for basically what we call creativity, action, and service. So during the 2 years that students are required to satisfy 150 combined hours of C.A.S, okay? Now, what does that mean? So creativity, basically it's the arts and other experiences that involve creative thinking. So as far as a part of creativity, they may create something, they may make something, they may take on a new, well, basically it's more towards the arts. So they're gonna take on an experience and where they're gonna learn something creative and artistic, and they're going to develop a skill from that. The activity is some kind of physical exertion, contributing to a healthy lifestyle. So they're going to do some type of activity. Again, it does not necessarily mean that they have to play a sport, but maybe they learn how to do some type of MMA or martial arts skill. Maybe they take on running. Maybe they learn to play tennis. But basically, it's something where they're going to actually use their body. And the service part of that is basically what we would refer to as community service. It's an unpaid and voluntary exchange that has a learning benefit for the student. The rights, dignity, and autonomy of all those involved are respected. Basically, this is community service. Now, here's what I want you guys to understand, because this is often misunderstood. Our students, we require that our students, of that 150 hours, 100 hours of that should be service. And we do that and require that. Ultimately, this allows our students to receive the highest level of bright futures, which I know was talked about earlier, but basically they are going to get the highest level of bright futures, okay? If they do not meet those hours, they are not guaranteed and may not receive any bright futures whatsoever. So it's a very, 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 very important that they make sure, and that we make sure, that those students are receiving those and earning those 100 hours of service. The other 50 hours can be a combination of both creativity and activity, okay? Just a quick side note on that. The Bright Futures hours, and I know this was talked about earlier, for the diploma program, although we require it within the 11th and 12th grade year, for Bright Futures, those hours would start within the 9th and 10th grade years. So it's basically a combination of the hours for Bright Futures, but again, for IB, it is a required 150 total hours of combined creativity, action, and service. Okay. Sorry. Just talking about each class really quick, I wanted to just touch on two of the major components that make up each of our courses. So if your child is sitting or will ultimately be sitting in a diploma level 11th or 12th grade course, they are going to essentially take both an external assessment and an internal assessment in each one of those courses. These two components make up a score, the score 7. Okay? So the external assessment is essentially the test that they will take in May. So it's basically starting in May, early May, all IB tests will start. Your student will essentially sit for a certain number of tests. That paper pen test will typically be 80% of the overall 7 score. The other 20 to 25% typically internal assessment. This is typically a major project that is done in each one of our courses. Just as an example, when I was the IB psychology teacher, their internal assessment was to replicate an experiment that had already been done, a simple experiment. They would analyze, they would receive the results, they would obtain the results, they would then analyze those results, and they would essentially turn that into about a 2,000-word paper. The paper was what was sent and was scored, and again, it ultimately made up about 20 to 25% of that 7 score. When it's all said and done, your students are going to have sat in 3 standard level and 3 higher level classes. They would have sat for the tests, okay? So when you take that 7 score for each of those classes, you combine that with the score from the external external essay and the extended essay and the TOK essay, you need a grand total of 24 points to receive your diploma. If I'm not mistaken, and I would have to go back and check my math, but I believe that there is a grand total of 45 possible points to receive. A student would only need to receive 24 of those possible points, plus a passing grade on the extended essay and the TOK essay. Okay? Now, with that being said, I also wanted to just refer quickly to our diploma point matrix. Okay? This matrix is basically kind of an overview, a grid of a matrix of how the points would be distributed with your grade from the extended essay as well as with the theory TOK essay. So I'll let you kind of scan that over for a second. But as you can see, there's a max point of 3 points here. If a student was to get an A on both assessments, they would get 3 points. But as you can see, if a student was to receive 2 passing grades of D's, they are not automatic failing conditions, but you also must see that there are 0 points going to be earned from those 2 components. So at that point, they would have to earn all 24 points from their 6 tests. Okay? And again, guys, this year during in the results phase, we had some of this come up, and this did impact some of our kids. So I also wanted to just show you some of the other failing conditions or passing. We'll go positive here with passing conditions. So please notice, if you have not met your CAS requirements, then you again will not receive your diploma. If a candidate's total points are fewer than 24, you will not receive your diploma. If an N, which means a non-submission, a student did not submit a TOK or extended essay, they would not receive their diploma. A grade of an E has been awarded for either the TOK or extended essays. A 1 has been awarded in any subject or any level, meaning higher level or standard level. A grade of 2 has been awarded 3 or more times within higher level or standard levels. A grade of 3 or below has been awarded 4 or more times higher or standard level. This one came up a couple times this year. A candidate has gained fewer than 12 points within those 3 higher level subject areas. So they need a total of 12 points, but also again, a grade of 2 has to be awarded. They could not, well, let me put it this way. They could not have received a 1, okay? but they need that total of 12 points. And then again, candidates have gained fewer than 9 points on higher level subjects. If any one of those 9 requirements has not been met, then the student would not receive their diploma. Okay, with that said, I'm going to come back to my PowerPoint here. And I just wanted to talk about some real positive things, guys. Our program is very, very, very successful. And I wanted you to see how successful Cocoa Beach in our IB program have been, not only over the many of years, but still are currently. This past year, 2020, we had a 100% pass rate for the 10th grade personal project, okay? And within the within the DP level of our program, we had 65 students that tested out, seniors going for their diploma, and 57 of those 65 earned their diploma, which is an 88% pass rate, okay? Now, I'm going to show you a quick document here in a second, but just a quick summary of that document. In 2020, there was 170,000 candidates within 146 different countries of our world that took tests and that essentially were looking to get their diploma. The world pass rate was a 79%, and I wanted to just quickly just scroll through before we finished a couple of those data pieces. And so again, this is this past year's results. Again, you'll notice 170,000 candidates. There was 645,000 exams taken within 218 different subject areas, 146 countries, and 3,020 schools. Okay, the average diploma pass rate was a 79%, and again, at Cocoa Beach, ours was 88%. Okay, if you are at all ever interested in looking over more of this, I will send it to you. Email me. I will let you see more of this. This is available. But this is a full overview of all the extended essays, all the tests, each and every class. There's no reason to go through all of that right now. But the biggest highlight of this, how great Cocoa Beach's IB program is. Our students are successful. Our teachers are amazing. They are learning at a higher level that's going to prepare them like no other program for college. I have been a part of this program for 15 straight years, and I can tell you how many students have come back to me and said to me, I was more than prepared when I entered college. Students are struggling in writing papers. Students are struggling with study habits. We were ready for it. We expected it. And because of that experience at Cocoa Beach, it made us so successful as we entered college and as we were looking to enter the workforce. So, guys, I just want you to realize that our diploma program, as well as our MYP program, which we'll go more into later, but we are doing absolutely great things. It is absolutely amazing to have a program like this available to our students, and I'm just so proud of both our students, our teachers, our school, our administration, our counselors. Everybody has just done a great job, and it's what's making us so successful. So basically, guys, that's the end of my presentation. If you have questions, we will now field those, and I'll do the best I can to answer them for you.
Yes, everyone, let me go ahead and allow chat and allow you to unmute, and we will go ahead and take questions. And Mr. Kellam, thank you so much for that school spirit. I appreciate it. Your voice changed a little bit there a couple of times. I don't know what that noise was in the back, but it sounded like your voice changed for a moment.
You never know, Mr. Ryan. You just never know with that screaming voice.
You got a little dog in the background, I hear.
Yeah, he was asking out. I couldn't get up to, to let him out. I was in the middle of a presentation.
I hear you. All right, so any questions for Mr. Kellam, go ahead and add them to the chat box. Or unmute yourself. That's fine, too.
Yeah, go ahead, guys. Just jump on in.
Mr. Kellam, can you hear me? It's Steve. So
yes, sir.
One thing, since we were kind of new around here, we just kind of struggled to know if Luke is on on track to get this diploma? Is there a checklist or something that, like, in other words, how does he know he's doing everything he's supposed to be doing?
Well, first, I will tell you that absolutely he is 100% on track. And again, that's part of, that's my big role, is to make sure that we look at both the junior and senior year and make sure and ensure that our students are doing whatever it takes to get the diploma. But again, these are some of the documents that I'm developing. I want to make sure that we have a full course layout with basically outlining from start to finish from 7th through 12th grade, but also shows exactly what the students need to take. I will tell you this, when I met with each of the students, and as we talked with each student as we started to prepare for the new school year, we ensured that the student had everything necessary to get to receive the diploma. But if you have further questions, Mr. Mitri, absolutely email me. I will get anything and everything that you need. If we get a phone conversation in there, I want to make sure that you guys feel very comfortable and confident in what both of your children are taking. But absolutely, I can promise you that Luke is well prepared to get that diploma.
Can you just explain real quick, and I'll go, the relationship between Bright Futures and IB?
Yes, so we're in a unique situation, and I can't speak to other states, but we are in a unique situation which has allowed us to align with Bright Futures so that we could guarantee a student the Bright Futures scholarship as they earned their diploma from Cocoa Beach and from the diploma program. And so basically, as they meet requirements of C.A.S, which essentially is really for Bright Futures, just the creativity portion of that, and as well, because as you enter the diploma program, you are now being required to, your graduation requirements have changed. We override some of the graduation requirements within by state law because of what we have to offer. So as we offer what we offer, and as your student meets those the service hours, we are guaranteeing them 100% the highest level of Bright Futures. Now, if they did not earn that diploma, that does have the chance of being reduced based on other factors such as SAT scores and the such. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, I think so. Thank you.
Absolutely, sir.
All right, Matt. Hey, I'm going to try to moderate the chat box for you and throw out some questions. Will 9th and 10th grade volunteer hours count towards the C.A.S hours?
They will count. No, they will not count towards C.A.S. They will count towards Bright Futures.
Okay, so that 150 hours that you spoke of earlier, you said 100 of them are supposed to be service, and those are what you were saying would fulfill the Bright Futures 100 hours. So would 9th and 10th grade volunteer hours count towards that?
It would count towards Bright Futures, yes, if I heard you and if I understood you correctly. So ultimately, many of our students may earn well over that 100-hour mark. That is just the requirement of Bright Futures, and so we make sure that they receive that. When our students enter the 9th grade, starting in 9th grade, they are required to receive 10 hours per semester for a grand total of 20 hours. So those hours will count towards Bright Futures, but would not count towards the 100 required C.A.S hours. As I said earlier, C.A.S is a requirement of the DP program.
Gotcha. All right, next question. Is the EE assessed individually, unlike the personal project?
I knew somebody would sneak that in there. Yes, it is. Each student is submitted individually, and as they are submitted, they are marked by moderators from IB who are trained in scoring the EE, and each one of those scores is then sent back with, again, a score from A through E.
Okay. Sydney asked this question earlier, and she's asking it again. It's a great question. And I think you touched on it. What happens with a Bright Future hour, or what happens with Bright Future hours if you try for the diploma but don't get it?
I mean, your hours are your hours. If you've earned and please, counselors, jump in if I'm making a mistake here, but if you've put the hours in, those are your hours, and you absolutely have every right to put those towards Bright Futures or any other scholarship. Again, we just can't guarantee you the highest level unless you receive the diploma. But the hours you earn will absolutely help you in any way to obtain many other scholarships as well as Bright Futures.
Mr. Ryan, I wanted to add, this is Miss Mackin, that IB students should be aware that they, if they're not certain if they'll get the IB diploma, then they should make sure they qualify for the required GPA and test scores,
Yes.
as well as the hours, to make sure as a plan B if they do not get the IB diploma, and to ensure their Bright Future scholarship.
That is correct. Thank you, Ms. Mackin.
Perfect. And that was what I was getting to. So thank you, Ms. Mackin, for answering that. Mr. Kellam, someone was asking, would you be able to share that checklist that you showed in your presentation with your IB parents? Would you be able to share that?
Absolutely. When I get to school tomorrow, guys, I will share. I will send it to the parent email list and make sure that you guys have it. So yes, I already have it as a PDF, and we'll share it with you. It's also available if you just search the web and just put in EE and TOK matrix. It's available for you to see. Basically the same matrix I just showed you.
No problem.
But yeah, I will send it.
All right, good deal. We'll send it out tomorrow. At what point in the senior year do kids get their projected scores for their class's diploma? The schools we are applying to require a particular IB score.
Okay, so typically the predicted grade is not used by American universities. That is typically for European universities. They, in fact, their admissions policy is quite different. They only use predicted grades. Our predicted grades are submitted to IB as a part of the grading process. And as we learned this past year, do factor into a student's score. Not every teacher has been required, well, I should just say it this way, teachers have not been required to share their predicted grades for different reasons. So a lot of our students do not know predicted grades, but they have not been an issue. Now, if you are applying, if you are in the application process, some of our more Ivy League schools will ask that teachers put predicted grades in. At that point, you would need to just talk to your teacher, and they will put your predicted grade in for you. Typically, that can't happen until at least second semester because, well, things are different this year. But basically, usually in second semester, our teacher would be able to input that score. But they need to know your IA grades, and they need to know that you have learned the material necessary to even make a predicted grade, if that answers the question.
Yeah, I think that does. Okay, so the next question was, are there any classes at Cocoa Beach that require a student to take an HL or an SL exam?
Oh, good question. So yes, we have 2 mandated HL exams currently because, well, just because that's the way our program has been running. So we have our 2 mandated HL courses are our English literature class, and as well our IB contemporary history class. So essentially those 2 HL tests will be taken by all of our seniors, and then our seniors would then choose between one other HL course.
All right. So this is, we're going back to the Bright Future Hours question. So I think we might have some, we might need to really try and clear this up. The question here says, is it accurate if a student completes 100 Bright Future Hours before the 11th grade, they only have to now complete the 50 C.A.S hours?
No.
Right.
you have to meet the hours within the 11th and 12th grade level. So maybe this will clarify for everybody. We have two programs in our school. We have the MYP years from 7th through 10th grade, and we have the diploma years from 11th and 12th grade. Both of our programs mandate service. So as a part of the as a part of the MYP years from 7th through 10th grade, our students have to meet certain requirements. Those will roll up with you in terms of the bright futures. The service hours you put in, and I should only say in 9th and 10th grade, will roll forward with you. But you have to meet the diploma program's requirements of 150 combined hours. That cannot start in 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th grade.
So you can go backwards. You can get the 150, and that 100 will apply to Bright Futures, but you can't get the 100 somewhere else and try to apply it to the 150 needed in your 11th and 12th grade year.
You would not meet the C.A.S requirements of the 11th and 12th grade year.
Perfect. So in that particular example I just gave you, that student would have 250 Bright Future hours, or 200 Bright Future hours, but still only have the 150 that they would need to get in the 11th and 12th grade year.
And you're going to get a whole bunch of scholarship money.
All right.
Yeah, I would like to add, this is Ms. Mack, and I'd like to add that that is typical of a lot of IB students to have in the 200 range, and that is true that there's a lot of scholarships out there in addition for helping out in the community, volunteer service hours, because remember the Bright Future only counts for a portion of the tuition and fees and books. So there's still scholarships out there that could help you with room and board as well.
Absolutely. Any scholarship money is great money.
Absolutely. So I'm going to try to get through these because we're now past our time. So I want to try to still answer as many of these as we can. We have a question here that says, if someone misses out on the IB diploma, but obviously still graduates, will their school diploma, will they get their school diploma to move them on into another college? And I'm just going to answer that question quickly. The answer is absolutely. You know, a lot of what you're doing in the IB diploma is going to the IB diploma program is going to set you up very well for college. Whether you got the diploma or you didn't get the diploma, you're going to still have you're going to still have the advantage of all of the work and the time and the effort that you put in, and the different techniques and the dogma that we have for the teaching methods there, and all of that is going to be beneficial to you in going to another college. So absolutely. Let's see here. A lot of questions about the IB hours versus the Bright Future hours, but I think we've clarified that. Is it possible for the student to have a review before IB tests, especially those that are taking those classes during the first semester?
So we're speaking for this school year.
Yeah.
Yes. And again, you know, our administration did a great job of being proactive and thinking about some of the ways that we could help our students school year, knowing that we were going to have tests at the end of the year, but students were going to be taking classes in the first semester and having a break. So we have built in, refer to it as, I don't know what to refer to it as any better right now, but we have built in kind of a second TOK class. We're not going to refer to it as TOK, but it's basically a study TOK helper. We'll call it that for right now. And so basically what it does is provide our kids some extra time to work on their internal assessments, to study for exams. Our teachers are well aware of the situation, and all of them are doing plan to do everything they can by the end of the school year to make sure that our students are very, very, very well prepared for their exams. So yes, we have built some things in. Our teachers are often having to record or have the option of recording many of their lessons, and or have many materials that are going to benefit our kids as they prepare for their exams. We will have it available for everybody. Our teachers will hold sessions. We will make sure that our
Yeah, absolutely. Everything that Matt said is completely correct. We understand the situation that we're in, and we've done a lot of work on the backside to try to support students in the second term. We have a great staff of teachers that have already talked to us about how they plan on doing that and rolling that out. And it's been great to sit here in my office and just listen to the teachers pour out all of the different ways they plan on supporting students. So it's a tough, difficult year, and we all understand that, but I think we feel very confident in what our teachers have expressed to us and their plans, even before a lot of these decisions were even made, what they were looking to do and planning on doing to help support our kiddos and your kiddos.
Absolutely.
So Matt, one real quick, one more question about this Bright Futures thing. When does it start? Is it the summer of 11th grade, the minute they're in the 11th grade, the first day of the 11th grade? When does it start? I think that is a couple people's questions.
Well, it starts when you hit 11th grade. I mean, if you did something over the summer before you entered 11th grade, I think we probably could find a way to make sure that it was entered as an 11th grade experience. Obviously, that's a fine line, but really a lot of this has to do with your supervisor and them okaying it. And as well, Mr. Walters is, if you don't know that, Mr. Walters is our CAS coordinator. So he will be helping you guys explaining the process. We will make sure that if you have an experience that occurs during the 11th grade summer, that we enter it as an 11th grade experience and it would count towards your CAS requirements.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt. All right, so we are now past our time. We're at 7:38. I just want to let you guys know if there are any questions that we did not get to that are still pressing, please don't hesitate to reach out to us via email. All of our emails are basically our last name first name at brevardschools.org. So kellam.matt, carr.emery, mackin.carlene, and haley.melissa. And I forgot to introduce myself earlier. I'm Kevin Ryan. I'm the assistant principal of curriculum. I didn't do that. So ryan.kevin@brevardschools.org. We try to make this general, so there might be some individual questions that some families might have that are specific to their family, their needs, their students, classes, credits that might have rolled over from another school. You might have some real individual questions that you want answered, and we're here to support those as well. Tonight was not meant to really get into a lot of that, so if we missed that, that was sort of purposeful. Our goal tonight was to hit on some of the topics and reach those things that you probably need to be preparing for here as students ramp up for college and applications and bright futures, because that's always important. And then every chance we get to introduce some topic of the IB, we try to do that. There's a lot of details and minutia to navigating your way through the MYP and the DP, and Mr. Kellam does a fantastic job of presenting that. And so any chance we get to have Mr. Kellam here to present any part of the IB program, it's always a pleasure to have him. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and your effort. I hope you found tonight to be worthwhile. We want to do more of these. We do plan on having one more of these before winter break. We want to try to have 2 per semester. I know that word is getting thrown around strangely now with this block schedule and so on and so forth, but we're going to try to do 2 before December and 2 after January, before June here this school year, and from this school year on, hopefully back in person so we can see your faces all on campus and high five you and smile. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to email us. We appreciate your time that you gave away from your family tonight, 2 hours to be here with us. Sorry about the lightning strike and the delay in the technology. And I hope you guys have a great Cocoa Beach night. Thanks, guys. I'm going to turn it off.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Mr. Ryan. You did a great job, buddy.
Thank you. The recording will be up tomorrow, folks. We'll put it on our website.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.